An empty, dark hallway. Heavy eyelids. Naked, starless sky. So tired. "Darius?" his wife asked. "Darius, honey, are you okay?" He shook his head, not to tell her no, but to try and wake himself up. "Yeah," he said, rubbing his eyes. "Sorry, babe. I'm just really tired." A yawn punctuated the end of his sentence. His wife, Elaine, leaned back in her seat. "You could pull over if you want. Chinese fire drill it?" Darius shook his head, stretching his eyes wide open, hoping somehow it'd lock his eyelids in place. He rewrapped his fingers around the wheel of his old pickup truck. "No," he said, firmly. "I'll be good. We only have, 5 miles until the exit?" "Exit 42, his wife said. "We only just passed exit 30. We have a ways to go, which is why I'm telling you." "I'll be fine," he interrupted. "Just need to stay here, in the right lane, and you just need to turn the radio back on." Elaine rolled her eyes and fiddled with the radio's tuner. "I want something heavy," he said, "preferably." "You hate heavy," she reminded him. "Not tonight, I don't." Elaine turned the volume up, filling the car with the overwhelming hiss of static. "Nothing," she said, still. "Oh, God," Darius moaned. The radio had been acting up like this for the last 10 miles. It had abandoned Darius to the iron will of his own fatigue. He saw no escape. "What the hell do you think broke this time?" he asked Elaine, disgruntledly in regard to their truck. "What's going to break next in this heap of junk? Fixed the brake lines 3 months ago. Just last week I had to replace the damn hitch because that had rusted off. Lost a cylinder last month. Now I gotta fix the damn radio?" "I know, baby," Elaine said, in partial frustration at both Darius's growing temper and his persistent stubbornness, turning to gaze out her window. "I don't know what to tell you." Darius was partially thankful for the spite. It had given him a little bit more fuel. Tilting his head to both sides, cracking it both times, he felt a bit rejuvenated. 12 miles, no problem. Then, the lightning struck. The bolt tore through reality like a bullet, right in front of them, casting blinding light through their windshield and across the entire sky. Thunder shook them. It rattled their windows. "Jesus!" Darius yelled, losing control of the truck. He instinctually swerved, even though the ephemeral bolt had already faded back into nothing. The rear of the truck fought against him as he tapped the brakes, hoping to slow their spin. Most unexpectedly, the tires held tightly to the road, and the wheels listened when Darius started to pray. The truck stayed on the road. Their momentum continued forward, a slow crawl at first, but very soon, Darius had them back up to speed. Both parties panted heavily. "Well," he said, turning to Elaine with a smile. "I'm awake now." "Jesus Christ, Dari," she said, leaning her head all the way back. "Barely," she moaned. "Jesus, that was too close." "Tell me about it," Darius exclaimed. "I've never been that close to a strike before. Ever." "Was it supposed to storm tonight?" "I don't think it was supposed to do anything tonight." "Then explain that shit." "Heat lightning?" Darius asked. "In October? Besides, heat lightning isn't actually... Do you see that?" Darius's attention returned to the road. He'd been so focused on his wife, so fueled with fresh adrenaline, he hadn't noticed that there was a car ahead of them in the left lane. A big car. There hadn't been one before the bolt. At least, Darius didn't think there was. Was he really that tired? Or had the car ridden the lightning? He jokingly thought. The car? Darius asked, a little confused. Yeah, it's a car. Or a van, maybe. Those have been known to happen on highways. No, she said. I mean, in the headlights. Darius squinted his eyes, unsure of what he was looking for. The air was misty. That was all he noticed. The road seemed really uneven, too. Bumpy, hard on the tires. But that was inconsequential. What about them? You don't see that smoke? Darius noticed it when she said it. The mist was thick, gray, and even the air smelled of it. Something was charred. Yeah, something's... He noticed shadows churning about the other car's taillights, billowing outwards from somewhere in the darkness. Charred. I think it's coming from the car, babe. I think so too, she said. Look, their headlights are out. And so they were. The car was cruising down a dark highway, nothing to guide their way. There was only a moderate glow from the red taillights, and, concerningly, a red sparkling inside the car itself. It seemed to bleed outwards from their rear windshield. Oh my God, Elaine continued. You don't think the lightning bolt hit them, do you? I don't know, Darius said, trying to remember the car at all. I didn't see. Shorted out the lights, she said. Do you think they're okay? They're still driving, Darius pointed out. Yeah, but why? Elaine rebutted. Why are they still driving if their headlights are out and their car's smoking? Darius had no answer. The car kept speeding along ahead of them. Darius kept a constant speed, about 5 car lengths behind them. Oh my God, Elaine said. Is that a fire in their cab? She'd noticed the glow too. It seemed to be growing in size and luminance. Derry? Elaine said, fear in her voice. You need to get us closer. We have to be sure they're all right. They would pull over if they weren't, Darius responded. Not necessarily to Elaine, but more to himself. He was still trying to make sense of the situation. Darius then noticed that the van, still smoking, still without headlights, was following the curvature of the road. Someone was still driving it perfectly. Please, Derry, pull up alongside them. Darius nodded, and he gently pushed down on the gas pedal, still hesitant. He wasn't sure why. As they moved closer and closer to the car, Darius realized it was bigger than he imagined. Definitely a van, Darius said, noting that the car was almost as large as their truck. God, you don't think they have kids in... Keep driving, Derry, Elaine ordered, stopping him from saying what she didn't want to hear. Their headlights fell on the rear of the van. My God, Darius said. Does lightning do that? The body of the car looked charred and blackened, like it had been driven through a wildfire. Ashen flakes were moved and peeled by the wind. The smoke was heavy in their sight. The smell was becoming overwhelming and obtrusive. Slowly, trying to match pace, Darius brought the truck creeping up alongside the van. Their lights, highlighting the car's entire body, revealed a work of irregular construction. It looked like it had been pieced together bit by bit. Irregular panels and bits hung from the sides, rusted and scorched parts that looked like they belonged to other cars and machines. There were no windows for the backseat passengers. They, too, were boarded up by sheets of metal. There were no doors. What in the hell? Elaine spoke beneath her breath. Darius wasn't sure what to say. He wasn't sure what he was looking at. More than that, he wasn't sure that the lightning had done this. He didn't know who or what possibly could. Both Elaine and Darius had lost almost all their sense of concern. It had been replaced with apprehension, with nervousness, with fear. They reached it. The passenger side of the van. There was a door there. There was a window. There was a red glow that seemed to hum from inside, pulsating in a rhythm, like the beating of a heart. It was a dim glow, and as Darius and Elaine peered uneasily, looking for any sign of life, all they saw were shadows, grim outlines, and perhaps... "I think I see someone inside," Darius said, leaning in. The red, pulsating light seemed to explode as the van wailed a monstrous horn. The light shone, bathing the interior of the other car in hideous rays of crimson, their shadows unveiled. Darius and Elaine were left to behold the vehicle's inner working with open mouths and quivering eyes. Inside, there were two people, but just barely. They saw what was left of them. The two sat upright in the driver's and passenger seats, like they normally would. But that was all that was normal. From their faces, embedded in their flesh, ran meters of visible tubing and piping, leading from the area around their mouths to places out of view from Darius and Elaine. Darius could see that the driver's hands looked almost stitched to the wheel, and that metal claws held them there, bolted from the other side. Elaine noticed that the one in the passenger seat, a woman she thought, was looking at them through a sideways glance. She noticed their eyes were broken, empty. Yet when they saw Elaine, for just a moment, they were full of life. The girl arched her neck, as if she was trying to speak, trying to call out. Her hands, thin and skeletal, slapped against the window, pleadingly, desperately. The silence of the couple was finally broken, when Elaine finally found the energy to mutter, "Oh my God." She continued, repeating the phrase over and over and over again, each time growing in volume and desperation. Each time, her eyes watered more and more, and her hands reached up to her scalp, and she started to pull. The car started to fall away behind them, and Darius knew what to do. "Hold on," he said, pressing his foot all the way down on the gas, and faded behind them into the dark. Only a faint red glow was still visible as Darius peeled away, pushing the truck as hard as he possibly could. The rough roads bounced them around, and Darius gritted his teeth. "What was that?" Elaine screamed, ending her mantra. "What the fuck was that, Daryl? Oh my God! What was it doing to them?" "I don't know, baby," Darius said, his eyes peeled, looking for the next exit. "I don't know." We have to call somebody. Anybody," Elaine said, struggling to breathe. "Then do it," Darius barked. "Pull out your phone. 911, now." "Oh God, what was that? Did the lightning—" "The lightning didn't do that," Darius said, emotionlessly. "It couldn't have." "That wasn't human," Elaine said, unlocking her phone. "Do you think—" "Damn!" "What?" "There's no signal. None at all." "You're fucking joking, right? Does it sound like I'm fucking joking to you? Does it?" "Calm down. They're behind us. Calm down." Did somebody do that to them? They had to. Oh my God. Is it a prank? How did you... "Keep looking for a signal. Use my phone." Darius threw his phone at Elaine, and she cried, It has no signal either. That's not possible, Darius cried out, pulling the phone away from her to check for himself. Sure enough, she was right. There was no service at all. First the radio, now the phones, Darius said. Oh, tonight is just perfect. He hadn't seen any sign for any exits. No signs at all for the last mile, it seemed. That wasn't human, Elaine said. That wasn't... You said that, Darius said, anger growing, trying to hide his fear. I know, but how do you explain it? There was no car, Elaine said, shaking her head. The lightning came down, and then there was a car. That car, it doesn't... You noticed it too, huh? Darius asked. It wasn't just me. But what does that mean? She asked pitifully. I mean, what? Did the lightning bolt fucking shoot a damn devil car into being? You think the lightning brought it? Darius asked. I don't know what to think, Elaine said, grabbing at her hair. All I know is that no car plus lightning equals evil car. Darius exhaled, puffing out his cheeks, trying to settle down. Was it even possible? The highway ahead was turning. It looked like the road was going down a hill. Car from another world? He asked. Brought by lightning? Are we sure it's not just a prank? Did that look like a prank to you? She wailed. That was real, Derry! That was real! There was a red glow in the distance. There was a red glow from behind. The highway opened up, and as Elaine sobbed into her hands, Darius's eyes widened in fear. I don't think the lightning brought that car here, Elaine, Darius said. What? Elaine asked, looking at him. Then how do you... Her eyes turned behind them, as blinding red headlights engulfed them. The van had merged over behind them, and it was following them closely. Before she could say a word, however, she heard Darius say something else. Something she hadn't expected. I think the lightning bolt brought us somewhere else. She turned, away from the bleeding red lights, and gazed into the horizon. Lightning of red streaked across an open, ugly sky. Beneath it, towering in the horizon, a massive building of jagged construction. Smoke billowed from its towers as they approached. Along the way, lights started appearing along the highway, flickering on, as if flickering into existence, cutting through the dark, illuminating a landscape that was barren and alien. Dozens and dozens of red, bleeding headlights, turning on, with horns blaring, welcoming the new arrivals. The buzzing of the radio couldn't be heard, not over the screams. The screams of so many.